Today, I'm going to cover the 5 best VR games you can expect to see in 2017. So if you like VR and you like gaming, then stay locked, crush that like button, enjoy, and I hope it helps.
What is currently happening YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials, and game clips, minus the You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to bring the game face. Let's get it done.
At number 5, we have Wilson's Heart by Twisted Pixel Games. This is a psychological thriller set in a potentially haunted hospital somewhere in the 1940s to 50s. The game is presented in the same vein as the old Twilight Zone TV series, with black and white style graphics, unnerving tones, and something on the wing. It is an adventure game at heart, pun intended, and although the story itself is unclear so far, it looks to be along the lines of guy wakes up in hospital, heart replaced by device, explore to find reasons why and what device is, story thickens, evil is unearthed, shit happens. What we do know about the gameplay at this stage, however, is that you will have the option to gain abilities as you go, courtesy of the mysterious device that has replaced your heart. This all sounds to me like it could be similar to early Resident Evil style games, where you explore, find locked doors, explore more, find a key, unlock door, progress story mode, while unlocking and leveling up new abilities. The game will have full touch support on release, and my expectations are set high on the touch implementation. Though under Oculus's watchful eye, I'd be surprised if it was completely shit. This game won the Best Virtual Reality Game Award at Gamescom, so I'm hoping the story and gameplay is as good as the graphical style looks. And even though we first started hearing about Wilson's Heart around June 2016, it is set for a release date of early 2017. And I can tell you, this release has got me like, fuck, where is it? As a side note here, if none of this tickles your fancy and you do have an 80s robotic cop fetish, then you can rest easy knowing that the main character, Robert Wilson, is voiced by RoboCop's Peter Weller.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
And on the robotic fetish note, at number 4, we have Robo Recall, which is developed by Epic Games. This developer's name you will certainly recognize from Unreal Tournament, or more recently, the Gears of War series. They also created the Unreal Game Engine, which is one of the main game engines in use today, and so they know a thing or three about games. On top of all that, they produced the absolutely insane Bullet Train VR demo, which is free to download from the Oculus Store. And if you haven't tried that yet, then you really should try it. In Robo Recall, you are an agent tasked with recalling rogue robots while unlocking an expanding arsenal of weapons, which to me sounds pretty fucking legit already. Robo Recall will have full touch support on release, which means you will be ripping robots limb from limb with your bare hands. So cue the genuine feelings of being a lot stronger than you actually are, unless you're literally that strong. Then this will be nothing new for you. Then you can go around slinging any guns you salvage from those metal bastards in the process, because nothing says, fuck you, buddy, more than taking fists to a gunfight, winning that fight with your fists, and then proceeding to lay waste to all of your opponent's friends with those same guns, and more fists. One of the best things about this game is that it's also free, which means it's 100% funded by Oculus, and apparently the budget used to create this game was around the same as the first Gears of War game in its entirety. So don't say either company isn't pulling their weight when it comes to contributing to VR. Expect the pace to be hectic as all hell, and a release date scheduled for sometime 2017. Again, hopefully sooner rather than later. In at number 3, we have Lone Echo by Ready at Dawn Studios. This team are responsible for a handful of God of War titles on the PSP and the trade-in PS4 game The Order 1886, and this is their first foray into the VR market. Lone Echo is a first-person adventure game where you play an AI named Jack, who is part of a human crew investigating a deep space anomaly. This means that there will be a lot of zero-gravity locomotion in this game, but the exception here is that This style of zero-gravity locomotion has not been seen in other games so far, and the way it differs in execution from a game like Adrift, for example, where you use thrusters to move through the environment, in Lone Echo, while you do have the option to use thrusters, the main method of navigating this deep space stage is by actually reaching out and grabbing objects, such as walls, handrails, or whatever, and pushing against those to propel you through the air, or not the air, depending on your geographical relationship with the spaceship. And this in turn obviously means full touch support on release, which at this stage should be par for the VR course with this level of interaction in-game. The other way Lone Echo sets itself apart on the locomotion front is that there doesn't seem to be any artificial rotation involved where the environment rotates around you, which, if you've tried Adrift, you'll know that a barrel rolling environment is the main cause of motion sickness in that game. Effectively, Lone Echo removes that aspect of the game, and if you want to rotate, you would need to physically rotate your body, thus drastically reducing the likelihood of motion sickness. To me, this all sounds like zero gravity done right, and this seems to be the general consensus on the net also. NPC interaction also looks stellar, oh what a pun that was, which you may have noticed from the trailer, where if you lean in on an NPC, they reactively lean back, and you can also interact with them in ways that may or may not piss them off, which to me is where the real fun is usually at. Cue people knocking shit out of people's hands and swiping coffee cups off the table mid-breakfast, because we can. All in all, the design looks stunning, the stage that has been set looks epic as fuck, the NPC reactions equally so, and I'm expecting big things from this full VR experience. And though once again we have no concrete release date, it has been slated for some time this year. At number 2, we have Arctica, which is an entry from 4A Games, who brought us the highly regarded Metro series. And Arctica looks to have a similar colour scheme and vibe to that of the Metro games. Set in an icy wasteland of the future, you are a generously weapon-endowed mercenary who must defend his group of friends in the ruins of a once functional city. It is an action-orientated first-person shooter that is futuristic in nature, and so it will see you firing things like laser beams and curve bullets, as well as using energy barriers to protect yourself and your teammates at silky smooth frame rates. The game has been built from the ground up for Oculus Touch, so expect haptic feedback when you pull those triggers to further bury you in the immersion. You can expect to see blinding amounts of textures and details, all the way down to the bullet trails left suspended in the air after firing projectiles at reluctantly targeted enemies. Wow. At this stage though, it does look like teleportation is the main style of locomotion in this game, which I'm personally not a fan of. I know results will vary for each individual here, primarily those prone to motion sickness, but for me, teleportation only locomotion is usually a deal breaker as it makes me feel like I'm an in-game tourist, though I do have a very occasional exception when it comes to cover-based games, which this is looking like it is shaping up to be. Arctica will release in 2017 and is an Oculus exclusive, so expect an onslaught of mad Vive users to ensue, which, to be honest, I completely understand the frustration as this game looks ridiculous and I for one am excited. On that note though, the developer of the game, John Bloch, has gone on record saying that it was the funding from Oculus that made this game possible, and without that funding, the game wouldn't have existed. So credit to Oculus again on that front. Look out 2017, 4A Games are coming for your money. And finally, at number 1 on my list is Resident Evil 7 VR on the PC. I've been playing this game in VR using virtual desktop on a giant screen, which has been brilliant. And while that may be technically playing Resident Evil in VR, it's not actual Resident Evil VR, which is what I'm most excited to see so far this year. It is scheduled for a PS4 exclusive for 12 months, so expect this one to actually be released at the start of 2018. But it is technically playable this year using software like Vorpix, though as with all injection software, it doesn't rival a true built for VR experience. Resident Evil sees you playing a guy named Ethan who decides that it is the opposite of a completely shit idea to search for his partner Mia, who has been missing for 3 years, mind you, in an old, definitely haunted, abandoned-ass house in the fucking swamp located in the geographical center of buttfuck nowhere and ass rape nowhere. Fantastic. I'm in. As you would expect, things don't just go pear-shaped, they go completely sideways, almost straight off the bat. And amidst crazy-ass, limb-regenerating, intestine-eating, and more than likely cotton-picking, toothless, degenerate hillbillies, it is your duty to search the house from top to bottom for an escape route and a reason why, which I should point out is after you have actually found Mia and figured out she is, well, kind of emotional. Apparently the main idea is to not use a pair of bolt cutters you found at the start to cut your way out of the front door in order to get to safety, though bolt cutters are in fact designed for cutting things or smashing windows when the occasion requires, and I would definitely say that this occasion definitely requires that. Amongst all the ludicrosity though, I love it, and I want more. And by more, I mean VR more. Real VR more. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Don't expect an official PC release anytime soon though, but once I find a method of hijacking this game to play it in VR, I'll be sure to let you know, so bring it on. And that's my top 5 titles in VR this year, though I did want to give an additional shout out to Star Trek Bridge Crew for the Trekkie fan in almost all of us who has ever wanted to say, red alert, engage, or
Captain's log. Stardate 2016.165.
And also I'd like to give a shout out to Essence, a Last Guardian / Myst style game, which is a gorgeous looking crowdfunder VR title that, despite delays, should be out in March. Obviously, this list is subject to opinion, so feel free to discuss in the comments if you feel there are upcoming VR titles that you think should be in this top 5. Also, if you like this video, then crush that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
Thanks for watching today's video. Just remember you can follow me on Twitter at facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. But don't forget to bring your game face. Facepalm out.